Alright everybody, I'm back. So in the last video, I did a quick napping session where we mostly skinned this particular biface out of a rather unorthodox looking small nodule of coastal plains chert. This is actually pretty high quality. Plans are to make boggy branch out of it, or maybe even a Clovis, because it is high quality flint, so definitely wouldn't hurt napping something paleo style. Boggy branch is early archaic point, but most of them that I have had the pleasure of observing, holding, and finding, yes I have found one, they're usually made out of raw chert. In fact, I don't think I've ever actually seen one that was made out of heat treated chert. Not to say there's not maybe a few examples out there, but from what I understand, the boggy branch point is in the Kirk family, and most Kirk points, at least around here, were made out of raw chert. So it makes sense, you know? And I think we're at the point now we probably need to go ahead and get rid of this square edge and this limestone at the base. I might take care of it here at the tip first though. That's an entire shell right there. Man, this corner here is like some really, really high quality chalcedony type stuff. And then when it gets a little lighter, it just gets a little grainier, where that chert hadn't quite yet turned into that chalcedony looking stuff. But even still so, the chert itself is high quality. Look at that beautiful paleo style overshot flake. Ow. Hit my dang finger. Alright, so the base cortex is gone. Definitely got more issues on this face than this one. This one's a lot flatter, a lot smoother. Really the only issue would be this weird high spot here, but that problem solved, you know. Really the other side is the only one with any real issues. But we do have continuous platforms for the opposite side. What to do, what to do. I think I might start taking opportunistic flakes. Probably just where the platforms present. Oh, look at that. That limestone scar completely healed. We finally got up under it. With that strike, that last one I did, well, the second to last one I did, that was probably the very end of it. So we are officially in a pure biface of some good quality chert. Albeit not very big, but, you know, I'll take it. Not every day I get to work high quality Alabama coastal chert, and I live here. You know, it's just kind of hard to find. You know, it's not like napping citronelle chert tough or anything like that. Citronelle chert is some raw stuff. You know, but I've seen some coastal plains chert that is just, it's borderline unusable. It's borderline limestone. It's so daggum bad. I've seen some varieties that even certain heat treatments, they help it improve a hair, but it's just not enough. That wasn't really the prettiest one, but I was more isolating this high spot and this curvature here. See, this is just a big convex area. Not per se with a defined ridge, but there are a couple of ridges going across it. Platform is low. This other side of the platform is kind of rolled over, so this side is isolated. I guess I could isolate it if I really wanted to. But honestly, I kind of felt comfortable hitting it how it was. But just for the sake of the video, we'll go ahead and isolate it. Yeah, that's a good platform to hit. Bam, and then roll it over. Nice wide flat flake. And now I've got two more defined platforms to hit into. I'm going to hit this one first. I expect better results on that one anyways. Yeah, just a big overshot but wrapping flake. Look at that. All the way across. Skinny flake. Here on this other platform and hopefully do another long skinny flake. Well, it was a long flake, but it kind of widened out. Not per se a bad thing though. It's a good ridge here. And at this point in the thickness of the biface, we're not too thin where I feel kind of edgy hitting on the base. See, I feel like that flake would have rolled down that ridge, but we hit a small fossil inclusion that completely stalled the energy of that flake out. I get it though, you know, I whined a little bit because it was selling coastal plains church a little difficult unless you have just the absolute best of the best and that's all you're able to sell. The only real quarry for that, in my opinion, will be something like the Flint River, where even the trash is B+ grade for what this is. You know, good material. It's all good material. There's a couple coral quarries in Florida, but in terms of just some really consistently good coastal plains chert, it's hard to find. Hard to find. You're gonna have to go through a lot of it to find what you want. And if you're really skilled, you can take the less than good quality stuff and still turn it into art. But I can see how somebody buying this for the first time hasn't quite learned all the little bitty, uh, well, hasn't learned how fussy the stone can be. I can see how they get frustrated with it because they're like, dang, I'm trying everything I can and this sucker just don't want to give. Yeah. Welcome to coastal world, baby. But I got tired of hearing it from customers that were talking about, oh, it's no good. And I'm selling it for dirt cheap and people are asking for replacement. It's like, guys, I'm dying here. Like, there's no profit to be made. I have no incentive to spend all that time, work, and effort in sending product that is the best it's gonna be for what it is. You know, if people want Alabama coastal, I'm gonna get it to them. Just don't expect it to be, you know, super duper easy to chip on. It's not. Even the higher grade, even the prettier stuff. I bet a little Lost Lake out of this kind of material would be pretty. I don't know. I don't know what the heck I'm gonna do with this. It's just your kind of generic shaped biface right now. We're looking good though. Yeah, I think we'll just keep on taking opportunistic flakes off of it and just see where it goes from there. There we go. Flatten that tip out a little bit. You know, even the less flat face on this is just still napping really, really well. And, you know, a lot of times on coastal plains shirt points, it's very much not uncommon to see one side extremely well made and the other side kind of just like, you could tell that the napper did what they could with it. It's, you know, it's a lot less common to find points that are just absolutely perfect on both sides. I want to take this ridge here off. We need to go ahead and do that now because we're starting to get thin at the tip. I don't want to break it. So not per se a flute, but we're just going to strike from the base and take this high spot off. Run that little ridge here in the middle. Ooh. Probably should have isolated that. I usually don't just because I'm lazy, if I'm going to just be honest. There's no good reason for me not to, I'm lazy. But I feel like I'll get it on this next one, but I definitely should have abraded on, or isolated more on that first strike. Yeah, but that's okay. Yeah, alright. You get some more tools. A lot of my napping tools are getting a bit worn out. They've been through many a point. fossil, of course. So, could do a boggy branch with it, but honestly, I like to make my boggy branches, 4 to 5 inches long. Just a personal preference, kind of my own little signature size on them, I guess you can call it. There's definitely plenty of boggy branches that were found, 2, 3 inches long. Just not as impressive in my opinion. Okay. So here we go now. Got a good little biface. Definitely got some more mass to take off, but we're definitely we're getting there. Ah, that's alright. I'm not worried about that. It really just gives off paleo vibes though, man. I know I said I was gonna make this into a boggy. I might go with a Clovis on this actually. And we've got a decent little thickness, so I say let's start on the pressure work. Work our way up from there. Well, correction. While we have the thickness, let's go ahead and flute it. Because this is gonna... fluting is always the riskiest part in making a fluted point, in my opinion. No matter what kind it is. Clovis, Redstone, Cumberland, Folsom, Dalton, whatever. If you can flute it, just know it's risky. If you don't do it right. Just gotta be patient. Make sure all your steps are done the right way first, before you feel confident enough to strike. Raise the edge up like we did, sand it, then we flip it back around, and we're going to make an isolated little fluting nipple on the base. Now I'm going to sand it over and around it, and then there we go. There we have it. It's not the most impressive looking one, but it definitely will work. I am confident in that. So here's how I'm going to do it. I'm just going to freehand it. I just roll like that. And we got a short but wide flute on that one, so I'll take it. We'll resand a little bit. I'm gonna go with the indirect percussion stick on the next. Just because I sent one kind of up the middle. I want to run the ridge on the side of it to get a little more precise with it. And actually, a lot of redstones in particular are fluted just like that. They're kind of famous for that triple fluting channel, if you would. Which all that was a short strike the first time, and then you ran the 2 ridges on the side the second time. That's all that is. And we kind of made ourselves a little miniature fluting spot right here, which I'm not expecting it to make a big old flute. I just kind of want it to thin out, blend in with the rest of them. Yeah, like that. Not the best, but that's not too bad. Yeah, you know, if that's what my Clovis ends up being fluted with, I'm okay with that. That's not bad. And I've actually seen quite a few, well, pictures of quite a few of them that had, one side was like a really wide but short flute, and the other one had like kind of a nicer, skinnier, longer flute. I've even seen some Clovises that didn't have any flutes. But I have had the privilege of laying my eyes upon some real ones. Some of the really, really nice ones too. Alright, I'm going to isolate 2 platforms here. Remember that thinning strike we took a little while ago? I'm going to use the 2 little high spots on each side of that original flake to kind of give me little fluting nipples on the sides. We're going to triple flute it on this side as well. Yeah, I went all the way up here, stalled out. I got one more right here. Same thing. Do a little pressure work and grinder work. We're going to isolate another one to go straight up the middle the second time. We've got the height for it on the stone. I think it should work somewhat. Help us clear out a little more of that high spot. And I actually misstruck. That's alright, we'll try this right next to it. That did what I wanted it to. Okay, so we got 3 flutes going right here. Not bad. Clear that out a little bit. Clear that out a little bit. There we go. That's better. Yeah, I like that. That's not bad, not bad, not bad. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and do some pressure work on one side. We'll get her prepped, flip it over, and then continue on to the other side. Where is that? There it is. And while we pressure flake this, it'll shape up a little more. This does look like a very well-fed Clovis. So we'll kind of narrow it in just a hair as we keep going. Some people use copper nails, and let me tell you, there ain't nothing wrong with a copper nail, because for the majority of my flint knapping career, I have been using them. But within the last year or so, my buddy Jake turned me on to these steel nails, especially for coastal, especially for raw coastal. It's much more of an aggressive metal, and you don't have to reshape it and resharpen it as much, not nearly as much. I ran into an issue. There's a fossil cavity right here, making us have a nice fat little step fracture on this side. So before I keep flaking down and end up ruining it, I've taken what I can, braid down, that way we roll the edge, and then we'll draw it in from the other side as we do the next pass, and hopefully by then I'll have another little platform able to set up here, and I'll do one or two extra, get it off. But let's continue clearing out this face on the opposite side of it. Ow. That flake stuck me. Alright, here we go. Yeah, that one did good. I got another little high spot right here as well that I might be able to take it out now. If this doesn't work, then I'll just have to wait till the next one. Oh yeah, that did it. Okay. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, we're good on that. We'll be back there to tidy up that area here in a minute, but that actually did a lot better than I thought it would, so yeah. Gotta get aggressive with these pressure flakes with raw material, man. You gotta really drive that crap, otherwise it will not want to go. It'll stall out on you every time. I'm kind of putting it on one of these little platforms and just pressing the snot straight in to make it just pop off. And the more convexity on your edge that you have, the more you can get away with that kind of pressure flake. Because that particular flake, I've noticed, seems to like traveling on that convexity. Yeah. Okay, not too bad. Now we're taking shape. Looking a little more paleo right now. Get down and dirty with that dang pressure flaking. That's a good series of flakes, though. Looks good. This worked from our ear in. Another thing, if you're flint knapping, and especially doing close to your face type of pressure work, I recommend two things. A pair of glasses, safety or not, just at least something. And I also recommend that you do it outside, or at the very least in a place next to a window or a door opening with a good ventilation system, because you You don't want to be breathing in this crap, man. All this is silica. All this stuff in the rock, it's silica. You don't want to breathe in all that. You get silicosis, and get silicosis. That could really mess you up. If you're flint knapping, dealing with high silica type stones, you definitely have a much higher chance of getting silicosis if you don't do it right. I mean, me right now, I mean, I'm outside, you know, the breeze is my ventilation, so I'm okay, but I've seen some people, you know, and more power to them, you know, they sit there and they just flint nap in their room or whatever, and which is fine, but they don't have any ventilation going, and I look at them, I'm like, dude, you're asking for it, man. Gotta take care of your lungs. Oh! Not too bad. That's a good looking edge. I got a little more work to do on this side here at the base because there's high spots here. But I think once I'm done there, this particular side is going to be okay. Beautiful. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Alright. Now, the big bad side. Take that off. Alright, now we're back to that big nasty section here on the side. Alright, here we go. Take some off the ends. Okay. It's about half of it right there. Alright. Oh, it released early. It's like that flake had already started and just stalled out. Probably when I hit it the first time and hit that fossil. I mean, it came off, but that wasn't what I wanted it to do. I was kind of hoping it would carry more with it. Oh well. I'll take it. Oh, and that next flake took all the rest of it, so we're good. Alright, let's start touching up the base first. No particular reason. But actually, you know what? I do have a good reasoning on that. I feel like if you touch up the base, you can kind of line up the proportions of the blade better in relation to how the base looks. If that makes any sense. Kind of make it match a little more. I don't even know if that makes sense, to be honest. Just forget it. Might actually make one more pass right here. Not all the way up to the tip, just right here where I want to reduce some of the width. Plus that edge got lowered pretty good from when I had to take that big humpy problem off. So, I mean, it's prime for a pass right now, you know, why not? Make it all line up. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Alright, so go ahead and round off the ears just a little bit, just on the very, very tips. I don't like leaving them sharp. I've never seen a sharp pair of Clovis ears before, personally. Maybe in other parts of the country, but where we're at, I have never personally seen one. And I have seen a few. Still haven't found one though. Maybe one day. And by God, let it be a creek find, please. Bump on the ear here. Just some light pressure. Don't want to remove a chunk. I just wanted to remove that spot. Yeah. Probably round off these ears a little more. Yeah, perfect. Okay, now we'll just do a little bit of touch up along the sides, try and remove some of those serrations. Some people leave them in, and I'm not sure the Clovis people went per se for a serrated point intentionally, but I have seen a few examples where there were a couple serrations on the Clovis. Most likely it was just they just didn't touch up the base very much, or the edges very much, because you can tell it was serrated just because of the way that the pressure flaking passes went, not because they went out of their way to make it serrated. Around where we're at, I want to say the earliest serrated points were probably the Dalton culture or the Greenbrier culture. Some Greenbriers are serrated. Honestly, I'm not sure which one is older. I want to say the Greenbrier is probably a little older than the Dalton in our area. But of course, I could be just wrong on that. But I want to say the oldest style that we have is one of those two. Whichever one came first is probably the first one. So, pros and cons, heat treatment versus raw stone. We'll go with the cons first. Cons, much tougher to work. Yeah, raw shirts 90% of the time, not really the finest quality, or it's not very forgiving or willing to just send a damn flake across. More prone to stalling out. So there's that. You know, it's tougher to nap on, and though you can get a very sharp edge on it, it's just not going to be quite as sharp as heat treatment, because heat treatment changes the physical composition of the stone, makes it more brittle, thus easier to flake, and it makes a cleaner flake when it breaks off. So you do have typically sharper edges on heat treated stone. But I'll tell you the pros of it. Pros is, A, you don't have to spend a bunch of time spalling stone out and then heat treating what you could get out of it. So there's that. Personally speaking, I've always had better luck making big points off of raw stone because it's tougher. It'll last forever, and it can really take a shock wave. A lot of times it can really take a beating, much more than a heat treated piece would. So not per se easier to nap, but easier in this aspect that you don't have to waste time heat treating the stone. And if you are able to actually get it to chip out, it'll last a lot longer because it's tougher. It's not quite as brittle. So, heat treated stone, easier to work, sharper finished product. Raw stone, possible to get larger products off of it, easier. Much more durable. Oh, and depending on certain stones, when you heat treat it, it can make it much prettier as well. But that'll do it for us today. That is an Alabama Coastal Plains chert Clovis. Probably around 2 inches long. Would slide nice and easy onto a dark shaft or spear shaft. There's your kill shot. And, for a raw piece of chert that started out as a dadgum turtle bag, to this, I want to say I'd say that's a pretty good success. But anyways, if you guys are still with me, I sure appreciate you. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks.